Hey y'all, welcome back to Homestead in the City. I'm Zach, and today we're going on a tour of my garden. So first off, we've got our patio pond. It's almost done. We've got a few more tiny little holes to patch. We've already got the fountains in, starting to put some plants in, and we're using this fence to keep Percy from the back part because he likes to bark at the neighbor pups and jump over there. But we want those plants to establish. And pretty soon, we'll be putting some fish in here, and this will be all done. Chicken run is still establishing. I know we still don't have chickens. We are pretty close to getting them. We actually sent a message to someone just the other night. We are waiting to hear back, so we'll tell you how that goes. But yeah, this is just filling in. We've already put in a little temporary door to start teaching Percy to stay out of this area, so we'll see how that goes when we get chickens and how Percy reacts. And of course, that outer wall of our chicken run back there is the back of the food forest right here. So we've got some stuff still coming in. Not gonna really have too much fruit this year, really any fruit, except some strawberries that came in. Here we've got our plum tree from Doko Farm. That's shooting up pretty well. The loquat that we brought in from our old neighborhood, let's see, it was about here of the winter. It's already put off a few feet of growth. We'll see how well that does. We've got our persimmon, American persimmon back in here. I have to have that held up a little bit. It was staked and I took that out. I probably shouldn't have. We've got our mulberry over here. It is doing quite well. And then we've got our chestnuts that someone bit off. Of course, at the top of the orchard, we have Percy's digging area where we lay down a ton of wood chips. He loves to dig and mix that in with the very sandy soil that we have. And then I built this screener so that we can separate out the still decomposing wood chips from this compost that's forming. Now this one's fairly dry because I did it the other day and just left it in the sun. But we're getting a decent, still very sandy mix, but has that organic material that's coming in. And so I'm gonna probably use that for potting up some plants, maybe add a little bit of perlite, and then put in some compost tea to help add nutrients in there. And I think that'll be a pretty good potting mix. We'll see. Percy, you doing your part? And chasing the squirrels. Yeah, so like I mentioned, we're at the top of the fruit orchard. We have 7 rows here in the backyard, and that is separate from the more food forest area. And so right now we have everything still working on getting established, and I'll just go through row by row. Row 1, we've got this blueberry bush. We do have some fruit on it. I think it's getting pretty close to picking, and that's about it really. We've got some sunflower and beans that we're trying to use to just build some soil and provide some ground cover. Row 2, we've got our small apple tree, and then I had a strawberry that was putting off some runners, so I brought this pot over here to try to propagate one that also has a marigold already growing in it. We've got one of our peach trees. This guy is the Red Haven. Got my Caracara orange, and then over here my fig tree, an avocado that came back from dying, and then something new this year, I've tied these pieces of twine that go all the way up to the rafters to some eye hooks, and we are growing hops. I've done that here, over on row 3, and at the greenhouse. We'll see in a second. I'm also gonna try to trellis this tomato up the center one. So the hops and tomatoes, they can, grow up like a long vine, and then I'm also hoping that will provide a little bit of shade for us in the summer on those southern facing windows. Row 3, we've got our pear tree and another peach, lots of strawberries and marigold that are coming in after we've chopped down this cover crop from the winter and just let it here to mulch. Got my Satsuma mandarin tree here. And then here's the hops that I was just talking about. All right, and row 4 is the one where we're already getting some fruit on the tree. This is the peach that we put in February of 2023, and I'm filming this in May of 2024. So it's been in the ground about 16 months or so. And we have, I don't know, maybe a half dozen peaches around it. We had a lot, different things have happened that have knocked a few off, but we are also getting a ton of new growth that'll hopefully put off a lot of peaches next year. And this is another row where you can see the marigolds are coming in after we've gotten rid of all of that cover crop that was just like up to here in last month's video. Then this is, I think, a broccoli. It's some brassica that just decided to leave. See how it does. Row 5, we've got this big banana. It is taller than me now. And then we also have our apple that is surviving, and we have over here an apple that did not survive. And I think that is because when Percy digs over here, a lot of wood chips get thrown this way, and it gets piled up around the trunk. I've pulled this back a lot, but it'll get piled up here. I don't know if it's that or if it just didn't get enough water, but this guy didn't make it. That's okay. This was in the lot that I got, I think 3 fruit trees for 20 bucks at the grocery store this spring, so not too big of a loss. Oh, we also have our Matsumo persimmon here that is trying to put off new growth after being bitten in half twice by someone. Row 6, we've got another apple that is doing quite well. We've got some of our strawberries and Virginia creeper coming in on this one. I'll probably end up pruning out most of the Virginia creeper, even though it's a native, in favor of the strawberries for the ground cover. Then we have a plum tree right here in the middle, and over here we've got our mulberry tree that is growing next to our grapevine. And then on our grapevine we actually have our first bunch of grapes that are coming in. And I think we also have, oh yes, a pear tree right here. So gonna have to make some decisions around this pear and this mulberry. So we'll see. We've also got elderberry growing all around that. So row 7, we've got, of course, the most diversity. We've got some rosemary in here. We've got onions. We've got beans. We've got an apple tree. We've got strawberry and mint. More onions. We've got elderberry, a pear tree in here. More elderberry. Some shiso. Some thyme in here. We've got spiderwort and yarrow over there. So, oh, and some, I think that's some dill and marigold. And so I'm actually going to pick this flower off to spore more growth on that one. So that's the 7 rows of the fruit orchard right there. Of course, they're right beside the greenhouse and fountain pond. So the fountain pond, of course, one of my favorite projects. With the fish in there and the tadpoles, the water always circulating. We've got really good, almost like an aquaponics system, kind of good ecosystem there. So I love to put tons of plants around it because they get some of that splatter, and then it just keeps them watered at a consistent rate and with some high nutrient water. And so I've got some of my strawberries here that I have propagated. I think that's mostly what's in these pots right now, but sometimes I'll bring my other plants and just set them on the edge here so that they can get a gentle watering. And then of course, in the fountain itself, we've got some pots that have like our aquatic milkweed and some elderberry in there. And then in the fountain tiers, there is mint and watercress that just grows like crazy, and I will cut that back and eat it and use it and stuff. and then it just takes over again. Over in the greenhouse, still haven't quite done anything with it for summer. It gets really hot in here. I do have a barrel of compost tea bubbling, and so I'll use that. I've already used my spray bottle and sprayed the entire orchard. And then I also use this to water in some of the transplants that I'm putting in. Oh, and our little pineapple's doing well. Down at the bottom of the hill, we've got Percy's first pond, and by that we've got a pretty big sunflower that's growing, as well as our banana tree and one of the best pawpaws that we have right now. And so this is designed so that whenever this pond overflows, that good nutrient-dense water will overflow into this little basin that has all of these, including this willow tree, which if you saw one of our shorts when we were in the Netherlands and saw those pollarded trees, I believe those were willows. So this is what that looks like early on. We'll let this grow, and then we'll cut off the small branches, and then we'll let it put off more in the pollarding method, so that we can use these for more projects. Stay out of here. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. It's okay. Good boy. Anyways, we'll harvest the little branches to use for other projects around the house, like wattle fencing, raised beds, and maybe even some basket making. Side yard does have some lantana coming in right now. I think the bees and butterflies love that. Also, the key lime is putting off some new growth after dying back over the winter. And then, of course, we have the muscadine vine that is just doing really well. It was, you know, just a little vine. Where can I compare it? It was no bigger than this 2 years ago when we moved in. We let it grow up, trimmed it back over the winter twice, and now we've got this great main vine here, and then that's putting off tons of new growth that eventually should be able to maybe trellis over. Maybe we'll use some of those willow branches and make a trellis for it here. All right, and in the front yard, in our pallet beds, in 3 of them at least, we just have a ton of our Sea Island red peas. We love how vigorously those grow, and I think a lot of these just reseeded themselves. Some of it even fell in the paths here. You can see how hardy it is. Love those peas. We've also got some sunflowers in here, and then we did get some starts from the farmer's market for some peppers. I think, what is this one? This is a Tabasco pepper, and then some tomatoes as well. And then the newest addition to this area is this little trellis that I built from some of the branches that were laying around. I think I still need to reinforce it a little bit, but I did that so we can trellis our tomatoes up it. And so I'm gonna try to grow those over. Probably also I'm gonna grow some peas up and over this arch. So hopefully that will be looking pretty good this summer. Then at the top of the hill, we have our other raised beds, and those are divided between these 2 that have mostly peas and these 2 that don't look like they have much of anything right now. We do have some radishes and other things that are just sprouting up here. And then of course, these are the ones that I'm thinking about. Oh, my gimbal's messing up. These are the beds that I'm thinking about taking out or moving elsewhere and turning this into our apiary hill to have some beehives right here above the rest of the garden areas. And along one side of the driveway, we have our in-ground beds. These are the ones that we use to catch stormwater coming off the driveway, to catch it before it goes downhill in the neighborhood. In these beds, right now I have corn and beans in there. I've done them 2 different ways. These 2 beds, we actually tore up everything and tilled them before we planted in. And then the other 2 beds, we just kind of knocked down that winter cover crop and planted in that. So I'm comparing those to see what the return on investment as far as the labor involved in doing them 2 different ways, and watering and all that, how they turn out differently. Right now they're looking fairly similar, and I put probably a lot more work and watering into the tilled ones. So we'll see how those go over the life of them. And then of course at every berm in these beds, we've got peach trees. So we have 4 different varieties along the side of the driveway right here that hopefully in about a year or 2 we'll start putting off some good peaches. Then the other side of the driveway is our berry hedge, and we've got some goji berry that is very young here. We've got strawberry that we're trying to use as ground cover like we do in other places. And then we've also got some of the blackberry in here that we already harvested this year. And we're also gonna try, even though they're not berries, we're trying hops here as well. So I'm gonna see if that will maybe grow along the fence lines that are going along the side of the driveway. So after planting some of the native trees, putting in some more ponds, letting the wildflowers grow, we were able to get certified as a wildlife habitat. So that's something we're proud of. We've got this right up front. We love for people to drop by and learn some. We do have a monthly hangout in our neighborhood. If you're in the area, hit us up and we'll get you more details about that. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.